Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Millennial Revolt, an independent political talk show that seeks to bring a different narrative than the stale one we have going on right now in the mainstream media. So, today we're going to be talking about Nancy Pelosi and how there is friction within the Democratic Party as far as the House is concerned. Now, Nancy Pelosi is currently the House Minority Leader. Now, her position may be up for grabs, and I'm going to tell you why, so let's just get right into it. Ohio Representative Tim Ryan on Thursday formally declared his bid to challenge House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi of California for the top spot in the Democratic caucus. This comes after poor showings from the Democratic Party in last week's election, where they lost both seats in the Senate as well as the House. Now, Nancy Pelosi postponed leadership elections which were scheduled for Thursday and which will now be moved to Wednesday on November 30th. The delay is designed to give Democrats time to figure out why they failed to make bigger gains against the Republican ticket led by Donald Trump. Now, I made an in-depth video about this. Please check it out. It really goes into depth and explains on one hand the economic issues as to why the Democratic Party continues to lose, especially on a state and local level, as well as the Democratic Party playing identity politics and using wedge issues. So please check that out for a more in-depth view. In a letter to his colleagues, Ohio Representative Tim Ryan wrote a letter saying that Democrats could expect more disappointments in future elections unless the party shook up its leadership team. He said, "At a time of fear and disillusionment, we owe it to our constituencies to listen and bring a new voice into the leadership roles." Nancy Pelosi has been in the leadership position in the House for at least 14 years, putting her in the ranks of some of the longest-serving House Democrats. Tip O'Neill, who is one of the most famous Democratic House speakers, served for 5 terms. When Nancy Pelosi spoke to the Washington press corps, she said that without even casting a vote, she already had 2/3 of the Democratic caucus supporting her. She also indicated that her state, which is California, was the source of money and political resources that helped the Democrats win control of the House in 2006. She also indicated that she was up for the fight to defend her role in the leadership position as the top Democrat in the House. But there's also a downside for Nancy Pelosi being in the top leadership position as long as she has been. Recently, the National Republican Congressional Committee endorsed Nancy Pelosi as minority leader on their website, saying that she was invaluable in putting the chamber in Republicans' hands. They recently posted on their website, "The NRCC would like to offer its full support to the embattled former House Speaker." Under Nancy Pelosi's leadership, the House Democrats squandered their majority by forcing through unpopular legislation like Obamacare. After the party's devastating 63-seat loss in ensuing 2010 election, Pelosi miraculously maintained her spot as Democratic leader, which predictably led to the largest Republican majority since the 1920s. I think if the Democratic Party wants to remain a viable option in this country and not just become a minority party, they have to shake up the leadership roles. Do I think Nancy Pelosi is going anywhere? No, I think she's been complacent. I think the Democratic Party has not learned their lesson from this election. They're meeting with big donors such as George Soros and other millionaire donors who typically donate to the Democratic Party. I think Nancy Pelosi does need a challenge, and I hope that Ohio Representative Tim Ryan gives her a run for her money. But again, as I said, she's not going anywhere. I think if the Democratic Party wants to try to regain the majority, as well as on a state and the local level, because throughout the country they are just getting decimated in a lot of these state legislatures and governorships. They're losing all over. The Democratic Party needs to become an inclusive party again. They cannot just care about diversity of skin color, but they also need to care about diversity of thought. The Democratic Party needs to become a party of the working class again. They need to stop alienating blue-collar workers as well. They need to stop pandering to social issues and minority voters. I'm an African American myself, and I'm tired of hearing about everything is racist, sexist, and bigoted. That's all you hear coming from the Democratic Party. You don't need to pander to millennials as well. Even though we are the largest voting bloc in the United States, we do not turn out to vote. The Democratic Party needs to become a party of FDR again, of JFK. They need to become a revolutionary style party that will inspire people. They need to have an inclusive platform that welcomes everyone in and becomes a party again that has so many diverging opinions in it. It seems that either they're going too far to the left or they're going too far to the right, and there's no centrist position. And it seems that anyone who does have a centrist position or someone who does have a very moderate view is kicked out of the party, or they're pushed to the Republican Party, or they're just pushed to being an independent. I think they have to be smart. I think they have to look at where the country is going. I think there was a recent survey that came out that said not millennials, but the generation after us is becoming more and more conservative. They have to keep that in mind. They have to keep older voters in mind as well. And they have to be able to address issues and problems within the country and have concrete solutions and not just blame white people for the problems. The Democratic Party had control of the House, the Senate, and the White House and did nothing to address the economic issues as far as Middle America goes, in the Rust Belts and in the South. You keep seeing these problems. And as I said before, this is not to say that Republican obstructionism didn't have a part in this. But the fact of the matter is, we had 2 years to get things done, and they didn't. So I think that's something that the Democratic Party needs to keep in mind. I think Nancy Pelosi has to be able to galvanize her party. Do I think she can do it? No. Nancy Pelosi has been a huge disappointment, and when you're getting endorsed by the National Republican Congressional Committee, I think there's a problem. I'm the Millennial Revolt. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.